A reading of my favorite piece of literature and my favorite Christmas story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. This is for you, Dee Dee, and Maya, and Noam, thinking that y'all are still kids, but you're all grown up. Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the people on the Carmel who lived in Haifa did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, his shoes were too tight. But I think most likely the reason of all, maybe that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from the Carmel with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town, for he knew everyone in Chapel Hill, down beneath, was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas is practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas and this boy from coming. For tomorrow he knew, or she knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys, and then, oh, the noise. The one thing he hated was all that damn noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They'd feast on Who pudding and rare roast, Who roast beast, which was something that sustainable cowgetarians couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Everyone in Chapel Hill, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and they'd all start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must shut down this whole goddamn thing. Why, for 46 years, I put up with it now. I must stop this boy and Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch in Haifa got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like a big dick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce on the Carmel, there were none to be found. Did this stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So she called her Dogsley, the one we call Nike, and took some red thread and tied a big horn on the top of her head. Then she loaded some bags and some empty old sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and hitched up Dogsley to the max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up," and the sleigh started down toward the homes ere the who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet, snow filled the air. All the who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed on the roof, empty bags in his fist. KW Who. Then she slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, with those wide-shouldered blades. But if Santa could do it, so could this wench. She got only stuck once for a moment or two, then popped her head out, and the fireplace flew, where the little who stockings all hung in a row. "Smart wool," she grinned, "they're the first to go." Then she slithered and she slunk, with a smile, oh so pleasant, around the whole room. And she took every present, pop guns and bicycles and inline roller skates, drums and checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns and plums. Stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then she slunk to the icebox. She took the whole feast. My favorite IPAs, and even the roast beast. Cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took my little piece of hash. Then stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. The Grinch grabbed the tree and started to shove, and heard a small sound like a whoo-hoo of a dove. Turned around real fast and saw a small who. Little Cindy Lou Who. Not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny who daughter, who got out of bed for a small cup of water. She stared at the Grinch and she said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old wench was so smart and so slick, and thought up a lie and thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little goy," the fake Santa lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light up the whole side. I'm taking it home to the Carmel, my dear. I'll make it better there. I'll bring it back here." The fib fooled the child and patted her head and got her a drink and sent her to bed. When Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing she took was the log for their fire. Then went the chimney Himself, the old liar, he went. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and one sack of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was too small for even a mouse. Then she did the same thing to all the other houses, leaving crumbs much too small for all the goy houses and mouses. It was 1/4 dawn, all the goys still in bed, all the goys still a snooze, when she packed up her sled, packed it up with her presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. Whoopsh, whoopsh, go Nike. "3,000 feet up the side of the Carmel, she rode with her load to the tip-top to dump it. To hell. Pooh, pooh, to the goys was her wrenchingless humming. They're finding out now that Christmas in the goy is no longer gonna be coming. They're just waking up, I know just what they'll do. They'll blow their house, their mouths will open for a moment or two, and then all the goys down in Goyville will all cry, boo, hoo, hoo. That's a noise, grinned the wench, that I simply must hear. So she paused, and the Grinch put her hand to her ear, and she did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, but it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. She stared down the chapel hill. The wench popped her eyes, and then she shook her head. It was a shocking surprise. The goys down in Goyville, the only one so small, was singing, I love you, with presents not at all. You didn't stop my Christmas for coming, it came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the wench with her wench feet and Morton's neuroma toe in the snow stood puzzled and puzzled. How could this shit be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came across the ocean in boxes and bags. And she puzzled 3 hours till her little rocket science ass brain was sore. Then the wench thought of something she hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, she thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe this Christmas means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Goyville they say that the wench's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute her panties weren't so tight, she whizzed with her load through the bright morning light and brought back to the goys his favorite toy and the food for their feast. And she, my sweet Daniella, she carved the roast beast. Merry Christmas from Whoville. I love my girls.